Yo, 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 yo! What's up, homies? You asked for it, so here it is, tutorial number 4. And what we're going to focus on this one is some lighting techniques. So come over here to your hierarchy and go to your directional light, double click it. This will take you to the sun. You can do some pretty cool effects with the sun. What I want you to do is get a decent view of your scene, just like that, but make sure you still have the sun right here so you can manipulate it. So a couple things you can do. You can come over to transform and go to rotation, and you notice it's automatically set to the X to 50, the Y to negative 30. That brings the sun kind of right above you, okay? But what we can do is we can change these values and it'll change the position of the sun. You can manually type them in right here, or what I like to do with the sun is come way over here on the top left and click the rotation button. You'll see these circles around the sun now. And the only axes you want to rotate it on is the X and the Y. Okay, so remember, the X is red and the Y is green. If you forget, you can look up here and you can see which is which. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's rotate it on the Y first and see what happens. I'm going to grab the green circle and I'm going to just rotate it a little bit. Now if you notice, look what's happening. The sun is starting to set. Pretty cool. You can get some really cool shadow effects by doing this. So I'm going to just put the sun kind of like about to set. That's pretty cool. So now let's try the red and see what that does. Alright, this is the x-axis. That kind of moves it in another direction. So what I can tell here is if I play around with both the red and the green, the x and the y axes, I can pretty much get my sun wherever I want it. Look what's happening there. I'm getting this cool shadow effect from the mountains. You see that? So you can play around with this a lot and really make your scene look cool. Another quick tip, over here on the far right on your inspector is the color. It's always set to this, but if you kind of want the sun to do a different color, come over here and you'll see now it's kind of shining a different color. See, blue, green. It's very light effect. I like the green. That's actually kind of cool. Now you can also play around with the intensity and stuff like that. Let's increase the intensity to 5 and see what happens. See, now it's a lot brighter. So you can play around with some of these things and make it even cooler. That's one cool thing you can do is play around the sun. Let me show you a few other things that are pretty cool. So why don't we go straight to one of our pickups. So let's just go to one of my faith pickups. So I'm in my game. There we go. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple other lighting elements. So in game object at the top and go to light. So let's grab a point light and let's see what happens. Now if you notice, I have the point light came over here on my hierarchy. Let's double click it. There it is. I'm going to go back up to the top left to my move tool. Let's move it up a little bit. Pretty cool. Now if you see what the point light actually does, it's a little light that shines around an area. So I can actually do many cool things with this. I can put it around one of my objects. So like, let me do this. Let me take my directional light really quick just so you can see, and I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to rotate it down so you can get more of a lighting effect so we have no light. Now let's go back to our faith coin and see now, see how it's shining with my point light? So let me move my point light up a little bit and let's just make maybe some of my little pickups glow. Now the cool thing about this is you can change the range. The range will make it a lot larger. So let's change 10 to 20 and see what happens. And let's bring it up a little bit. You see how now you kind of have a larger range. Now you're saying, well, why? I want to make the light a lot shiner and brighter. So come over here to the far left and mess around with the intensity. I'm going to change 1 to 5 and see what happens. Much brighter. Bring it up. And now look how they're kind of glowing. That's kind of cool. Another cool thing is also over here on the right. You can play around with the colors, see? Now this gets really cool because I'm going to actually take this point light and I'm going to bring it over to one of my mountains. That's going to make my mountain shine pretty cool. Now here's a quick tip with the point lights. I have one now. Why don't I just come over here and duplicate it? So I can right click and click duplicate, or I forgot to tell you the shortcut. It's Command D. So if you hold down Command and click D, I just duplicated it. So now I have two. I'm going to move this one over a little bit. I can change some values maybe. Maybe I want to change the color, get a little red action. Maybe I want to lower the intensity a little bit. Maybe I'll make the range. Let's make the range 50. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty cool. So you can do a lot of cool stuff with these lights, okay? Those are point lights. I'm going to show you one other one, and then you can start playing around. Let's go back to our coins. I'm going to go to the faith coin. Go to Game Object, Light, and let's go to a spotlight, okay? Spotlights are also pretty cool. So now let's double click on the spotlight in my hierarchy, and let me just move it so I can get a better idea of what this thing looks like, and let's get up a little bit closer to it. There we go. So now, look at the spotlight. What that does is actually puts a round circle on the ground. Now let's trade in some values and see what we can do with this. First, let's play with the angle. Watch what the angle does. Over here on the far right, I'm going to spot angle, okay? Ah, the angle does this really cool thing. It makes the circle bigger or smaller, okay? Let's play with the range. If I do a range, let's change range from 10 to 20 and see what that does. Ah, it kind of makes it a lot brighter and larger, so I can make a larger range if I really want to get an area here. Let's play around with the intensity. You know what the intensity does. I'm going to change 1 to 5, and it's going to make it really bright. So if you really want to brighten something up, or you want to bring it up really high and have just a small little effect like that, you can do that. And remember always too, you can come over here to color and hit the colors and you can change some of the colors. One of the really cool things you can do with Spotlight is you can actually put them on your pickup objects and try to make them shine certain colors, okay? Let's just take this Spotlight and let's bring it, I'm going to just bring it over to this mountain because it's the closest one. And another really interesting thing you can do with the spotlights is you can rotate them, which is actually kind of cool. So come over here to your rotation tool, top left, and then let's rotate a little bit. Ah, that's pretty cool. So you can do a lot of other cool things with the spotlight. See that? Before I leave, I'm gonna make this. Let's do some purple action. Let's make the range a little bit bigger, or the angle. Let's range it 30. Ooh yeah. And I'm gonna just move it a tiny bit. Oh, another cool thing about moving, if you grab it right here by the box, you can actually move it kind of like this. It gets a little confusing, but sometimes when you're messing with lights, it's a little bit better. Instead of using the arrows, if you're on the move tool, you can just grab the box and then you can kind of move it with your mouse. It does get tricky, so you need to be careful, but sometimes that's a little bit easier depending on the situation. All right? So do a bunch of stuff like this. It's really cool. Let me just bring my sun back up. And the lights still show, but as you can tell, the more light you get, the less you're going to see your lighting effect. But it's still pretty cool. Let's turn the lights all the way off. Oh, yeah. And now it's kind of shining in a... Let me play in here and just see what it looks like. Ooh, it's too dark, but that is actually pretty cool. All right, well, good luck. Let's see what you got. Peace.